Hello, tribe. It's Bui, and I am here with my host. I'm hosting the podcast, but I'm really here with my host. We are at Nairobi Design Week, and we have the pleasure of sitting with the founder. So as we get into this conversation, we're going to speak about the evolution of design. And Adrian Jankowiak is my guest today. And as I typically do, if you're viewing us for the first time or listening in, my name is Bui Mafoko. I'm an entrepreneur, a luxury consultant, as well as a speaker. And Adrian, really thank you for accepting this invitation, first of all. And what we are setting out to do with Africa on Luxury as a platform is exactly what we're doing here, have conversations like this. So this is really a moment manifest for us. And to be able to travel the continent and chronicle the story of African luxury. And of course, you may be, if you're listening in for the first time, thinking, what is African luxury even a thing? We are endeavoring to unpack exactly that. I'm not the expert. My guests and I are collaborating towards the definition as well as the answer to what this is exactly. And to introduce Adrian, how are you feeling today, Adrian?
Great, thank you for being here.
And you're 8 days in.
Yes, 7, 8, yeah, whichever it is.
Oh, today's Friday, exactly a week in to when this design festival started.
Yeah.
And how has it gone so far?
Amazing. We're on the 9th edition now, so we've kind of learned how to have certain processes in place, how to work with exhibitors, how to improve every year and bring value to people. And we feel that this year there's been a lot of really good feedback from participants and from visitors.
It's a wonder you managed to get this interview in. But for us to jump straight into it, I want to formally introduce Adrian. Adrian Jankowiak, as I've mentioned, is a designer, facilitator, as well as a creative strategist. He is the founder, and that's why I said he's my host at this wonderful festival today, and of Nairobi Design Week, in this 9th edition, on the eve of a decade. I don't know how you've done it, but very keen to get into it. And Nairobi Design Week is an annual design festival, community, as well as design studio that creates exceptional, unconventional experiences both locally and globally. His work leverages people, ideas, and technology to create design works that are structured and emphasize values such as community, empathy, and diversity. Really all the things that resonate with us. Some of the works they produce, and we're sitting at the Opportunity Factory, which is the venue for this design festival, and we'll get into a little bit of that. Some of the works that they produce includes toys, games, consumer electronics, furniture, sanitation, music videos. This is the entire universe at this point, events as well as experiences. And naturally, this is a beautifully curated festival here today. The scope of the projects ranges from product services as well as creative campaigns. And really, I think the podcast fits very well within that.
Good.
I mean, it would be terrible of me not to highlight some of your milestones. Adrian is has been a board member or is a board member and strategic facilitator for the World Design Summit in 2023.
Yeah.
World Design Weeks.
Yes.
So this is why this is so good, this entire thing, because you sit as a board member as well as facilitator, and I'll be sitting in on some sessions that are happening over this weekend. He is a moderator for Journey Through he was a moderator or is a moderator for Journey Through the Senses at Venice Design Week.
Yes, so we work with Journey Through the Senses. I have something called synesthesia.
What is that?
It's a phenomena, let's call it, that connects multiple senses. So it means that I've always had this, and I only discovered I had it really when I was an adult. It means that I see numbers and letters in color. It means that when I hear music, I see color, and I see it in my mind's eye, not in front of me necessarily. Though some people have visual implications for their synesthesia because it's different for everyone. I also have mirror touch synesthesia.
Adrian.
So it means that if someone touches your shoulder, I'll be able to feel it.
So you are a multisensory.
I think I have the same senses, they just connect. So every let's say bui, right? It's a very green, rich green word for me because the bee is a rich green.
Oh my God. Did y'all hear that? Did y'all catch that? Green meaning fertility for me. So I connect that with fertility. Thank you, Adrian. And he was also the speaker for Pan-African Creative Exchange and World Circular Economy Forum in Nairobi. And lastly, he was also the judge, or he's also the judge of judging works at Design Intelligence as well as the Sondeka Awards. Adrian, I mean, I'm just reading English here, and my English is not great, as you can tell. But who are you? And I'm interested in the background and the story that you introduced behind the scenes.
Sure. Well, English wasn't my first language either. I'm from Poland.
I'm in good
originally.
company.
Exactly. It's the world's second language now, I guess, right?
Which is the first?
I mean, everyone's second language.
Oh.
We all choose it as or use it as our second language. Yeah.
I get you.
Most people have a first that's different, perhaps. So yes, I'm from Poland originally. I grew up there and moved to the UK when I was 7. Went to school and university in the UK and studied industrial design.
Okay.
So that means designing products, systems, services, understanding how to gather insights and then turn them in something that's scalable.
Love.
So I worked for a FMCG company called Reckitt, working across new technologies across their brands such as Airwick, Dettol, Vanish Finish, Clearasil, Durex, Dr. Veet, Scholl, Dr. Scholl, etc.
An entire portfolio of life, because that sounds like my entire house.
Yeah, it was 20 brands, and yes, it was an entire household worth of.
Because I consume all those products, except I suppose some of them that we don't have in our geography. But as I've mentioned, we're recording this episode live from this year's Nairobi Design Week, the 9th edition of an annual festival of design, and it really just curates and showcases Kenya as a creative center. This year's theme is "We Got This." We got this. We got this. We got this.
High-fiving people all week.
I hope you used Dettol to sanitize.
Yes.
Jokes. Jokes. Okay, so what has informed the theme?
So the theme has really evolved. I'm really proud of how we curate the theme and how the theme comes to be.
Tell us.
Originally, for the first few festivals, we had things like startups and artisans, resource and community, because we wanted our theme to represent our values and what we're learning as well at the same time. So resource community, culture and heritage in 2019. And then 2020, we had designers for everyone, about inclusivity. Then we went into the pandemic, so 2021 was online and it was together.
So you had the theme before we went into the pandemic?
So the theme, the 2020 festival, 6 days in, we had to close because that's when COVID officially started in Kenya.
What a befitting theme then to have had, because you really had to exercise inclusivity to every degree.
Yes, exactly. And then we knew we'd still be indoors come the next festival. We knew we were all separate and we wanted to be together. So the theme for the online was together, and we had Eat, Design, Repeat as well. So Eat, Design, Repeat.
Eat, Design,
together.
Repeat. And what has then informed this particular theme? We got this. What is really the sentiment behind the theme?
Yeah, so I was just saying actually, so it's kind of a story. So 2022 was where we live. 2023, it's what we make it. And now 2024, we really try to reflect what people are feeling around the world, around society. And we really want the theme to be our participants reflecting on life and design through the theme. And that's why we want it to resonate with people, because we keep hearing people say, we got this.
We got this.
Right? And they resonate with it, and then they come back to thinking what happened here as well.
Yeah.
So it's really a continuation, and we already know next year's theme as well.
The 10th year edition, you gotta come here.
Yes.
And it happens every year annually around this time.
Women's Day is the marker.
International Women's Day.
International Women's Day, so 8th of March. And actually, I can tell you, probably, we haven't officially announced dates, probably 8th of March which is a Saturday next year, will be the first day of the festival.
Launching. That's wonderful. And I love how you're speaking about everyone having a relationship with design, because I think you almost feel like it's something demarcated for a select few. How did you get into design? I mean, I'm asking this question really from a perspective of somebody who's sitting at home considering career choices. I'm asking this from a youth who's considering design but doesn't know that there's a career in design. How is it that you got into design?
Well, I remember picking up a textbook on careers when I was 14, 15, 16. At the time, I knew that I'd wanted to be an animator for a long time. You know, playing with Lego, making cardboard models. My granddad was an engineer, always teaching me things and how to make things. And I realized that I was adapting things or adjusting my environment to my purposes because I was solving my own problems, right? You need a shelf, you'll build a shelf.
Yeah.
So that's really how I got into design. And then I saw this careers textbook and it said product designer. And I'd already done design and technology at school and figured I love making things. I'm really interested in how to make the things around us, because actually everything that's human created in the world has been designed in some form. Maybe not by a designer, but it's maybe an engineer or biomedicine, etc. We're all creating and designing to create a better world for ourselves and for others. So that's what really grabbed me. And the comparison kind of an architect might want to see X number of people cross that bridge that they've designed. For a product or industrial designer, it's wanting X number of people to interact,
with that
to have their life impacted positively by the things you're creating.
You know, I have never actually, and I'm in marketing, I have never actually considered the definition of design. And I'm really here as a student because you have just suggested to me that, so simply, in fact, that design is interacting with, it's basically how we interact with the world and solving for how that experience is for you. Is that what you said?
It is, yeah.
I'm just like, I mean, we say design, but never really even Googled the definition of design. So thank you for sharing that.
I often emphasize the term prototyping because we all prototype every day. We prototype in design by making cardboard models, etc. You prototype in your life by changing that recipe from last time to this time. Maybe I'll add a bit more of something. Maybe you're taking a different route to work today because there's traffic and you'll think, oh, maybe this will get me there quicker. That's prototyping. So you're doing design thinking, right? You're trying to solve your own problems through it.
And actually talk to me about design thinking, because I attended a conference 2 years ago in Cape Town, the Design Thinking conference, and my first exposure to it. So what is design thinking and what is the process, or how are we seeing practical examples of design thinking in our everyday?
I think design thinking is probably defined now as part of a process and a group of methodologies. So the process in general would be to observe, and that could be through conversation, through looking, etc. Observe the stakeholders who are involved in the problem, then ideate around those problems. So think, right, what can we get those insights from the people involved? Think, how might we solve these problems? Then you go to prototyping. You make some simple solutions that can help you, and then you test those. And then once you've tested, you go back to ideation and see where you need to improve. And it's kind of a circular process, just 4 steps. And we often refer kind of similar but slightly different as human-centered design. And more importantly, going forward, I think life-centered design, because we're in an ecosystem and we share this planet. And there's a group of methodologies that keep expanding, that's, using cards, using games, using other ways to either gather that data and information or to test and prototype that as well, those ideas.
I suppose we're the masters of design thinking then, as humans, at the very central point of it, because we are, as you're saying, these 4 steps, doing them every day in a continuous process of design and thinking and ideating and improving. So particularly love the introduction of the language that's coming through. And what are you seeing, or what has introduced the nuance of life-centered design?
So the climate crisis is upon us already, and we're all seeing it. We're all seeing its impact. We're all seeing the impact of waste and all the other things that we're doing to the planet. And human-centered design really inspired me when I was at university, and coming to Kenya, that's what brought me to Kenya, is because we want to solve problems. Now, we have to realize that sometimes we're solving those problems with a view more to humans rather than the world we live in. And if we worked with nature more, if we worked with our environment, and if we have that understanding, which often comes back to understanding our heritage, learning from our ancestors as well, right? Indigenous knowledge and so on. We need to bring that component into what we're doing and use those similar methods, but now look at the entire ecosystem. The stakeholders are the birds and the bees and the grass and the trees, right? I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but... And
well done.
There you
Bars.
go. There you go. That's it, really. Life-centered design, we need to be focused on a circular model for our products. So everything we take out of the ground, what are we doing with it afterwards? Are we burning it? Are we reusing it for something, right? Here we have, on exhibit, we have Rethread Africa's pineapple fiber textile, right?
A textile made from pineapple.
Yes.
Did I hear you
waste.
correctly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just over there.
Really pushing all the boundaries. Now, between you and me, forget about them. What brings a Polish man to Kenya?
So first of all, the Polish boy moved to England, right?
Yeah.
To the UK. And I was really, like I said, I worked for a corporation, and then I was really determined to do design with impact.
Okay.
But really, I wanted to keep exploring and understanding the world better, because I know how much impact travel had on me. And I wanted to be able to design while doing that. And so I got a consulting job for a Gates NGO in Nairobi. I was doing water and sanitation solutions in Kenya, Ghana, Bangladesh, based out of Nairobi. And
you settled.
Yeah, well,
it would seem.
definitely in a very good way. You know, first of all, Nairobi has that way of pulling people in. People find it a very great place to be, and Kenya is incredible as well, as a country and the people. Yeah. So it's very hospitable. Also, that stage in life where I knew that wherever I had gone, you know, I had a job offer in China, I could have ended up at other places as well. And it was that stage in life where I maybe knew that I thought I'd consult for longer. But then the idea, through the need for solving Kenyan problems with Kenyan designers, came Nairobi Design Week. So,
and it birthed this beautiful, now 10-year-long journey, because obviously we might be in the 9th edition, but probably so long, it takes a year or more to plan this. So what are you, and with all the work that you've done, what is unique about Kenya's design DNA? And you're quite right about there's something so magical. I connected with that when I arrived. So what is unique about Kenya's design signature or DNA?
So first of all, we have a creative DNA project here with the British Council, and it's 18 designers, fashion designers, who are the future of Kenyan fashion. They've already put 71 designers through this program.
I'm sitting on 3 suitcases, and that's your fault.
By a fourth.
That would be your fault.
So actually something that I really love, coming back to prototyping, is that there is what Kenyans call a jua kali culture. Jua kali means under the hot sun, because people would work under the hot sun. And it's the craftsmanship.
Yeah.
The fundis, the people who make your furniture and other products, right? Textiles, etc. There's a very direct line here to be able to design something and produce it and create it.
That's beautiful. Because often the designing is happening, but manufacturing is taking place elsewhere.
Yes.
As we've seen. So to have all of that live here is quite exceptional.
Yeah. So it's definitely that. We've also seen in the last decade a lot of development in terms of the people who came to the first Nairobi Design Week as students or as teenagers are sometimes now creative directors, architects, etc. Right?
That makes me happy.
Definitely. Television crews, actually, we've had people coming through who created content and are now working for broadcasters. And so that whole generation has brought with it more inspiration as well. So I'm always encouraging everyone to look to what the fresh designers are bringing in. And there's the digital aspect as well. You know, we've had a lot of people being able to use digital tools, and that means that it's more accessible. Design is more accessible for them. They can create and produce outputs without having to spend money on manufacturing, for example.
That is wonderful because, and there's elements and values of luxury that you are introducing there, because we are obviously having these conversations through the lens of luxury, but not divorced from humanity, so to speak. And you're speaking about craftsmanship, you're speaking about heritage, all of these rich centers within ourselves as a people that we're creating from. And you convene this festival annually as a celebration of the past, the present, and the future, because I suppose these are all the outlooks that you take in programming and in designing this. And I'm discovering this myself. There's an energy, there's a vibrancy to Kenya. What did you connect with when choosing Kenya? Is it the people? Is it exactly just the vastness of beauty and warmth and hospitality, as you've mentioned?
All of those, all of the above, definitely.
Yeah.
I think it's a hospitable country, right? People enjoy embracing ideas. Kenyans are very forward-thinking and use technology a lot, right? One of the most kind of saturated markets when it comes to technology in Africa, right? In terms of smartphones, etc.
Yeah, the penetration is high, I get it.
So people are very open-minded to new ideas and how those ideas might impact their lives, and seeing the value in what those ideas bring.
And I suppose the technology is an avenue to access, and the open-mindedness very well comes from being able to have access information
Sure.
earlier or sooner than the rest of the continent.
Yeah.
So I quite like that, because I've been very well received, I must say, being here, and I might move to Kenya soon, or rather frequent, because I've got a family back home. What goes into planning a festival of this stature? Walk us through, and you were counting down, which was crazy and wonderful at the same time. Just before the interview, you mentioned 350 what days? 357 days. And that's wild. We're hardly through the 9th edition, Adrian. But what goes into planning this festival of the stature?
Yeah. I'm really happy to have worked with amazing people, incredible, strong women on the team. You know, that's important. And a balanced voice and a diversity, which I hope comes through the curation.
A local voice?
Definitely. I'm the only foreigner on the team.
Is you?
Yes.
Not foreign anymore.
There we go. Thank you. That's what Kenyans say too.
Not
you
foreign
see?
anymore.
Kenyan hospitality. It's rubbing off.
I might be Kenyan.
There you go.
In fact, I'm African.
So besides that, of course, there's a lot of preparation. In terms of technical aspects, you need to set the dates, right? We already know approximately when next year's will be. We like to give people that time, because someone might be exhibiting from far away and need a lot of time to prepare. So the first thing is dates, venues, right? We have an incredible partner, Opportunity Factory. We've held this here for 3 years now. And they're very supportive of the local industry. It was started by a local bag brand, leather manufacturing brand. Sandstorm Kenya, yes. So they're a mentor personally and as an organization to many of the creatives in Nairobi as well. Opportunity Factory is all about radically transparent relationships. So if you come here to the factory and you need to know how to make something out of brass, where the screen printing is, which textile producers to go to, they'll give you all the suppliers' information, because it's really...
And that's democratizing production or manufacturing, isn't it?
And I've sidetracked from the process, but really it's getting those open calls out as quickly as possible, having the theme out, and we already know next year's theme as well.
You want to tease it?
If you remind me at the end.
Okay. I will.
Yeah. So getting the communications right, making sure the experience for people, for participants. We have an exhibitors portal where people can download their documents. We try to make the process as simple
There's
as possible.
also a digital. I know there's virtual exhibitors.
Yes.
Talk to us about.
Yeah.
Is it just something you've maintained post the pandemic?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good way to say maybe that's where it started, because everything was digital and we had lots of digital artworks for that one. And it's again in the same space, big screens, big touch screens that allow us to really show the work that people have been creating to its best potential. Because we all see our own work on smartphones, maybe sometimes on a bigger laptop, right? But it's very rare that we get a huge interactive screen that people can see others work on. And it's nice just to sit there and admire. There's photography, there's 3D, 3D of all sorts, animation and storytelling. So we really want to make sure that those digital exhibitors are represented, because they're now a huge proportion, huge community, huge part of the industry.
And with that, because what I've loved about being here, it's been very immersive for me, in that I could touch, I could feel, and the exhibitors are wonderful. Are there opportunities to then retail for the digital exhibitors as well?
Good question. Because, yeah, like you said, physical exhibitors, vendors get the opportunity. They get to be here and interact with people. For example, today we have a meet and greet for exhibitors so that they can know that they're going to be in one place. And that means also that any people coming, any visitors, right, are experiencing how they can purchase those pieces. So, of course, we've done things with Web3 platforms. We've got partners. We've had NFTs exhibit here the last few years as well. So there are avenues like that. And a lot of the digital work, some of the physical stuff here is created digitally. We've got the art cart who do journals, stationery, etc. That's a way for them to express that creativity and bring it to a product. For other people, it might be a poster, right? And maybe through being here physically, they're also finding new ideas on how to combine those two worlds, physical and digital.
Okay, I love that you've been deliberate about achieving that, so that the experience is not limited to the guys that are digital. And what are some of the topics of discussion? I mean, I've seen partners like Microsoft. You've mentioned the British Council. What are some of the topics of discussion that are being tabled here?
Yes, the British Council Creative DNA had a really top rate. We had 10, 12 people on stage, all really stylists, curators, people like Sunny Dolad, people who the whole industry looks up to here. So high quality of panelists and speakers and moderators as well. We've had Neema and McKenna, who run a mentorship program for fashion called Nawa, and they're just starting that. And they brought in, I got to be on that panel. That was one of my highlights as well.
Okay.
We've had a redesign everything panel. So we have Cirque Leg here, who have prosthetic legs in the booth next door.
That was dope. Not expected, but shows the bounds to which you're willing to go with this festival.
Yeah, and made by Kenya. We've been
that.
aware for the last 5 years, but they've just launched last year because it takes so long to bring a product to market. This was the right time for them to showcase. So yeah, we had the Redesign Everything Challenge with what design can do, again, around circularity. And that's open every year, by the way. So maybe some of your listeners, every year the subject for them is different, but it's an accelerator in Amsterdam, cash prizes, whatdesigncando.com. So then Microsoft as well, lots of AI from Microsoft. You know, they have products like Copilot. They're really the experts in this field, right? As we know, they're creating our futures and they're giving us the tools to work with. So they're showing some of the things that they're using tools for. They created a PowerPoint for a design festival right in front of us using AI, and they've got more showcases throughout this closing weekend as well.
That's absolutely wonderful. And I'm going to be wild and ask for my phone, because I think so many people are missing out on this conversation. And I was wondering if we could go live.
Maybe one of our marketing could actually.
Yeah, I did want to go live. And this is the beauty of these platforms.
Yeah.
I think you can also go live on your platform. Yeah. So if this is your first episode on Africa on Luxury, this is we're authentic here, and this is exactly what we do. So I'm gonna get my phone, and Adrian's gonna get his.
Yeah, already calling.
And we're gonna go live, just to let people in, because I think there's so much being missed.
Awesome.
On here. And you can also catch the live. Nairobi Design Week will go live just now. And where were we? So we were talking about what are some of the topics of discussion that go into design, programming and designing a festival of the stature.
Yeah. So like you mentioned, Microsoft, a really keen partner this year. The design team there is full of talented people, right? And it's been great to see organizations like that come in and hire local talent now as well. And know that Nairobi is really a design capital.
And you were speaking about some of the AI work, and we'll get into that just now. But I'm keen to also just, who are some of, and we're sitting in a beautiful setting. I want you, thank you, Whitney, for letting us use your exhibition stand. And who are some of the exhibitors here today? Because as it is, I am taking everything home.
Okay. After we sat down on the 17th.
I hope they ship directly to SA, because I'm definitely taking some of. So if you see me on the streets, just know. Good.
Well, yes, most of these brands would, and I think all of them would probably find a way to ship to you in
Wonderful.
SA. So we're sitting here in the Africa Collect textile photo booth, and this is all recycled textile, upcycled textile. Africa collect waste textiles into bins that are just outside. Then they separate those into reusable clothes that can be resold or donated, and clothes that are beyond use. Lots of jeans and denim, as you see.
And if you can just circulate on my phone at least.
Yes.
The cameras, I know we can't, but just for everybody that's on the live to get a sense.
Yeah, so this is all stuff made out of recycled denim and other fabrics as well.
She mentioned khaki.
Khaki,
when I was speaking
exactly. To her. And Africa Collect are a partner this year as well. They've made all the wristbands for festivals.
Yes, visitors. I had one.
And I just noticed we both came on without our wristbands.
Yeah, but maybe
mine off.
We are official.
We're allowed in.
We are official.
And actually, you mentioned about shipping to SA. Well, we've got Anansa Africa, who are a Pan-African platform, right? Anansa.Africa, if you want to find it. And they're a digital marketplace that features brands from all over the continent, including Kenya, SA, right, Ghana, all over.
It's gorgeous that they can curate from around the continent.
Yes.
Absolutely love that. And what is the profile of the visitors and the participants? And how have you really seen it change over time to what it is today?
So we try to keep entry as accessible as possible into the festival. So it's 300 shillings for adults, which is a couple of dollars currently. And then really we have, that's why we have a young audience. We have lots of 18 to 24-year-olds.
I saw beautifully dressed. There were gentlemen looking so dapper, and we'll post the images, but it's been the most beautiful, just like visual experience for me.
Yeah. Today's the day that we have lots of photo shoots happening.
Okay.
Right, people dressed really nicely every day, really coming to the festival. So that's really cool. People are seeing it as a spot to hang out and do that sort of stuff. We're encouraging families and friends to come as well.
Is it accessible to children?
Definitely.
Because I think it's an entry point to design, as you were saying, you were model making as a young boy, and that's how you got into design.
Yep, and I've worked in toy design, and I love staying a child, really. And the three core pillars that we use to curate as well, the experience, not just the exhibitors, are play, grow, and make. Play, it starts with play, then you grow and you keep making things. It's not even in that order, it's all at once, right? We're constantly doing these things.
Yeah.
And we want to encourage adult play as well, because that really helps us as adults relax, pull away from the stresses of everyday life and do something whatever way, whether it's playing a violin or playing on the PlayStation, or doing something else, cutting something out of cardboard, which is my way to de-stress, as you can hear.
I can see that being distressing. I can totally see that. So, and if you for the guys on the live, we are sitting with Adrian Jankowiak, Polish in Kenya, and he's the founder of Nairobi Design Week, and we're here in Nairobi today. Let's talk design and technology. And you've already teased Microsoft, and I've seen a very generous program from them happening this weekend. How are you leveraging emerging technologies to create design?
Well, we can start with the physical, right? To create physical products, we have people like the Rusty Fundi who are using plasma cutters. We have Kenya Lighting Industries and Jabali who use laser cutters to create products, and you can be creating things as intricate as an earring with laser cutters these days, right? And CNC technology.
What is that for those that don't know? Like me.
Sure.
For me.
Sure. So it's computer-controlled manufacturing.
Got it.
So you program something in, it could be a flat sheet, for example, and you send the tool to cut it for you. So it stands for computer numerically controlled, CNC. But that CAD, computer-aided design, these are all kind of design terms that some people might know.
CAD I'm familiar with.
And then obviously, so that takes us into the digital, and people creating things that are 3D that might be an augmented reality that don't even exist. And
I saw a virtual reality showcase here today.
Yes, we have virtual reality, 360 videos. Augmented reality is going to mean that the planet that we see around us has another layer or many other layers, depending how you're interacting. You might walk out in the street and you'll see a mural, and that mural will allow you to pick up an item of virtual clothing that you'll wear online.
It's sounding like Fifth Element, except we're here.
Except we're already here and people are doing it.
I remember watching that movie and they were microwaving a liquid that became a dish. I feel like we're closer to those times than we know.
Yep.
And what role, actually on that point, what role does design play in virtual channels like the metaverse? You spoke about NFT. What role are you seeing design playing? I mean, it's probably very essential, but I'd like to benefit from your response.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of the core of what it is, right? There might be business methods and so on, but when the NFT craze came around, and as we work out what we want to do with technologies like NFTs, so they actually offer value to people, people are creating, right? People are designing. And not only are they designing just graphics, they're finding new ways to create and design. So they're using generative methods, right? We have artists within the NFT, the Kenyan NFT Club. If you're into NFTs, the Kenyan scene is really great.
Yeah,
and
Kenya
the community
is technologically very advanced or progressed. And that's quite...
So Kiggs, for example, really look up to his work. He's doing generative work, right? And this was 2 years ago already, where he's creating patterns through code, right? And it could be, for example, something that's African inspired, and then it gets transformed and it evolves. It could be an artwork that actually, every time someone interacts with it digitally, that artwork changes and becomes something else, right?
Wow.
So
digital art, a digital piece of artwork.
Digital, for example, yeah.
And in the age of AI, I mean, how can designers, I suppose this then becomes the question at the back of it, from a copyright and an intellectual property perspective, how can designers protect their works? So we're speaking about digital art or fashion. How are you seeing, and I hope Microsoft will touch on this in the conversation today, how designers can protect their works? And we're speaking designers from all ambits of the design spectrum, whether it's fashion or textile, whatever it may be, or built environment. How are we seeing, or is there information already on how they can protect their works?
There is information, and I know the Kenyan Copyright Board is trying to do a lot to help protect artists, right? And KIPI as well, that's the Kenyan Intellectual Property Institute. So when it comes to patents, trademarks, copyright, design registration, these are all very different things that people need to understand, and it starts with the education. And there's some really good people doing that education in Kenya. Privately, within the creative sector, within the legal sector, within government as well. So that's really important. And then there's the question of what can you really protect in today's world, and is it worth your effort? what to protect that particular thing in that particular format, right? Maybe it's, and that's not to discourage, it's more to say, sometimes you have to move on to the next idea, right? And sometimes it just didn't catch you, and that credit, yes, you have the credit, but maybe half the internet thinks it was someone else, right?
Or as it is.
And we need to do more about that.
Yeah.
It's just kind of coming out in the wash how it might happen. Peer pressure is a good one. Peer pressure, someone saw a mall in Nairobi using artwork that was very similar to a Kenyan artist, or was it even not a Kenyan artist? And
Wasn't even an artist.
and it was there you go. And there was a lot of fuss about it, but I know that work's still hanging there.
So, I mean, and you're rebutting my entire thought process here because, you know, as you said, patents, copyright, and intellectual property is about protecting your works. But you have spoken, and the very central thing about what you've said here is the democracy of design, or democratizing design, where it's all about being very accessible to as many people as possible. And therefore, as you're saying, is it even worth protecting, or just move on to the next idea? Because the process of design, or of the legal process of protecting your works or design, takes years. And by the time that comes through, we may have all moved on from it. My last question, and then I made a mental note, so you said I must remind you. What is your ultimate luxury?
Time. It's the only thing we can't buy, perhaps. One of the only things we can't buy, right? More of. So I think this festival as well, I felt every festival, I think it gets intense, and it's a really incredible experience. And then you just want to do more. We always wish we had the 25th or the 48th hour in one day, right?
Yeah.
So that's it. Yeah, I think there's many more things that could be considered luxury, but I think that's the truest one.
Time. For you, it's time.
Probably, because
But if you had more time, you'd do more.
I'd do more. I'd create more. Yeah, exactly.
No, we're not exercising restraint. And as we close, you said you will tease us the theme for next year's festival.
The world exclusive.
The world exclusive.
Yes.
Let's leave it there, and I'll let all our
No,
viewers.
that's the theme. I'm telling. I haven't said it to anyone publicly.
The world.
So it's a world. It's a world exclusive.
It's a world exclusive. Oh, it is a world exclusive.
Yeah.
I thought.
As in, you're getting one, because I haven't. Only the team knows.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you letting us in.
It's we are the ancestors.
I need a moment. Yeah. I'm feeling myself get emotional. We'll leave it here.
Thank you.
And thank you for the work that you do.
Thank you, Bowie.
Thank you for hosting us, and thank you for having us. It really is a beautiful space that endeavors to highlight the work that we do as Africa on Luxury, and collating and curating the definition of African luxury, and the work that you do here at Nairobi Design Week. And I hope you may gain more access to more people that materialize all your visions.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And to catch next year's Design Week, or even some of the programming that's still left here this weekend, at Nairobi Design Week on all platforms.
Yeah.
And the theme being We Got This.
Yes.
Thanks, Adrian.
Thank you, Bowie. Awesome stuff.
It's a wrap.